Hi, everyone, and welcome to an info session about UBC Faculty of Forestry featuring 4 of our lovely students who've been studying here at UBC campus for the last few years. So we're looking forward to having them share their experiences and advice and some of the great things that they enjoy about studying here at UBC Forestry. So to get us started, I'll have everyone introduce themselves. Maybe we'll start with Lori, and then you can tag everyone else. And if you can share your name, major, year, and hometown.
Sure. Thanks, Lydia. My name is Lori. My major is forest operations in the PN designation within the Faculty of Forestry. I'm from Abbotsford, BC, so not too far away from Vancouver. But I will pass it to Ron.
Hi. My name's Ronak. I am from Mumbai in India. My major is conservation and specializing in science and management. And I am in my 4th year at UBC. I'm going to tag Abby.
Hey guys, I'm Abby. I'm in my 3rd and a half year at in the conservation program like Ron. And I'm from a town outside of Philadelphia. And I'll tag Nolan.
Hello, so my name is Nolan. I am in the conservation program, just like Abby and Ron. I'm in my 2nd year, and I am from Hamilton, Ontario.
All right, our first question is, why did you choose UBC Forestry as opposed to other programs, and what drew you to your specific major?
Well, when I was applying for universities, the decision became quite easy when I realized that UBC operates 2 separate forests. So it convinced me that the university was invested in this program and in ensuring that students could get a sort of well-rounded on-field experience. So that combined with the fact that there's a course in my program called Field School, which takes you outside and has you do all these things out in the field, is what really drew me to forestry and the conservation program. And the conservation program also, it teaches you a lot, but it also tells you what to do with that knowledge. It gives you a sort of purpose and a direction by which you can use that knowledge to make a change. And I liked that this program gave direction to the content that I was taught. It didn't just feel random or out of place.
Nice. Yeah, so when I started at UBC, I actually was in a different faculty and I have since transferred into forestry. And the biggest thing that kind of convinced me to make the switch was because I realized that I think in my future, I wanted to have the opportunity to be able to work outdoors a lot. Not saying that that's all forestry is, because there's a lot of different programs within the faculty, and it's such a wide breadth of kind of career paths you can go down. So I think a lot of it initially was just kind of my wanting to work outside and learn outside. And also I had taken a few forestry electives before I was in the faculty, and they were some of my favorite courses. And a lot of it was the friends that I had made in those courses. So the community that's here within the Faculty of Forestry at UBC was definitely a big convincing one for me as well.
Okay, yeah, and so the reason why I chose Faculty of Forestry at UBC, coming from Ontario, there was a lot of very similar options back home, and throughout the rest of Canada, just looking at environmental undergraduate degrees, going on the internet, just looking up at different universities. It's very streamlined across Canadian universities, what they offer. But UBC really stuck out above the rest, being that they had a whole faculty dedicated to it and all these different options and opportunities for specializations. So that just really stuck out for me. And I chose the conservation program because it gives me the opportunity to, I guess, still stay a little general for the time being, getting to try different sciences and social sciences and whatnot before I really decide what I specifically want to focus on in the future.
Very good. Awesome. All right. Thank you. And the next question is for Abby and Ron. What were some of your worries coming into university, and maybe how have your perspectives changed now?
Yeah, I'll start. I was extremely worried about coming to university, especially since it was pretty far away from home. I was very upset leaving, actually. It was really funny thinking back on it now. Just because I'm a very big family person and I love my family and I love my hometown, I've been there all my life. So it was really, I was really nervous coming here alone, but luckily I had the opportunity to be on campus for my first year. You get housing, all first years get housing. And I made a lot of friends in a big community really fast. I also started with doing Jumpstart. So I did that 2 weeks. I came here 2 weeks early or 1 week early. And I got to meet all my forestry people who will be in my classes literally in that year. So that already started like a community right off the bat. So that was how that's changed. And obviously that community is just continually growing and I am always making new friends and I just love it here.
So as an international student, I definitely relate with the traveling far from home. I was definitely quite scared as to how it was going to be, a completely different culture, different knowledge backgrounds, and I wasn't quite sure if I'd fit in because I was in forestry, which is, I didn't really know a lot about forestry at the time, and I wasn't quite sure if I would fit in as an international student because everyone seemed to know or get the vibe, and I felt a little out of the loop sometimes. But a few years on, and those were completely, I shouldn't have been that worried because it was quite warm for sure. And I think what I thought was scary was actually a good thing. The fact that there are so many people who have different backgrounds than I do, who have come from different stories and have different stories to tell. So I look at it, I look forward to it now instead of being scared of being in a completely different crowd. But that's one thing that's changed, I would say.
So the next question is for Nolan and Lori. What was the transition like from high school to university? And especially with a big campus like UBC, how can you make a big space feel a little smaller or less intimidating?
So coming from high school, it was very uncomfortable at first, to be honest, because UBC is so big. I think it is a good thing that you are probably going to be feeling out of place here. I think everybody at some point feels very like the imposter syndrome, out of place here because it's so big. And I think that's a good thing because it really pushes you to not only find where you feel like you belong or where you work best, but it really gives you confidence. I think that's the best thing that came from the UBC campus and the environment here is that I gained a lot of confidence because you have to adapt to this really big school. And I think if I maybe went somewhere a little more comfortable, I guess you could say, I would not have pushed myself as much as I did here.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything Nolan said. And one thing that I have found that has helped push me out of my comfort zone and helped make the large UBC community feel a little smaller and easier to navigate is getting involved in different things, whether it's clubs that you love. Like if you're a big skier, then you can join the UBC Ski and Board Club. Or if you are just really into board games, there's a board games club. There's also different clubs within the faculty of forestry. There's different intramural teams so there's clubs on every scale. There's really large ones where you can go and you can meet a whole bunch of people, or you can start a little smaller. And I think there's even, I don't know if there still is, but there's like a video gaming club or something. And a lot of it is like virtual meetups. So it's like, it's really easy to kind of find people who are like-minded. And even if you don't know which clubs you want to try, there's so many to choose from that you can try them out. Like you don't have to stick with them. And in the beginning of the semester, it's easy to make friends that way. And who knows, maybe you'll find someone in the same position trying to put themselves out there. You guys realize, actually, I don't really like video games, but then you made a friend already, and then you guys are friends outside of the club. So that's kind of how I adapted to the large community of UBC, by just kind of putting myself out there, finding like-minded individuals who enjoy doing the same kind of activities that I like, whether that's in residence within forestry or within all of UBC.
So the next question is, what types of activities are available besides academic courses? And also, what's it like balancing your school life and personal life?
So I think Lori did touch on a couple of the good points regarding joining clubs and finding sort of smaller communities within the larger UBC community. And there's a lot of activities that allow you to do that. And within forestry too, we have quite a few options. My personal favorite was the FUS, as it's called, Forestry Undergraduate Society. So sort of standing for election and then working with your peers to help develop like community programming, to sort of bring the faculty together, advocating for their needs. It's just a fun time, and you become good friends with all your FUS people. And we also have logger sports. So that's something that's pretty fun too. It gets pretty wild, and you really love to see it. And yeah, a very outdoorsy community within the Faculty of Forestry. So if that's something that you're into, or if that's something you're curious about, we have a lot of those as well. We go on hikes all the time, both as groups, and we have the Varsity Outdoor Club. As for balancing school life and personal life, it is definitely a learning curve. You will have to learn to try and set boundaries for yourself, but as you sort of get into it, you pick it up pretty quickly. There will be times when it's a little difficult, when you have to make sacrifices either here or there. But personally, I've found a lot of support both from my friend group and from the faculty itself, whether it be through sort of academic advising or through my professors, who are also very approachable, and they will sort of help you maintain that balancing between school and personal life. It's just important to know what your preferred balance is, which is something that I think you learn with time.
Nice, thanks, Ron. So activities besides academic courses in the faculty, Ron touched on, I think, a lot of people's favorite, which is, yeah, the Forestry Undergraduate Society. I know Ron and I were on that last year, and we helped plan a lot of events that we put on just for forestry students, whether they're large, like full like nighttime events, or even small, like I think just like last week they had like a rock painting event. So some people just kind of stopped in between classes for a small little like brain break, and it's nice because you just kind of gather and everyone kind of de-stresses quickly, and it only takes like 30 minutes, and it's a great way to meet people as well. So whether you want to join the FUS right away or not at all while you're in forestry, you'll definitely be hearing of things that FUS is doing, because they're your undergraduate society and they're there for you. And there's also different things within the faculty that are not academically related, but there's something called the co-op program, which you can become a part of in, I think, your second year. And that's a really good program because it helps you find job opportunities while you're still a student. So if you wanted to get a little bit of forestry work experience during your summers, whether that's in Vancouver or elsewhere in the world, there's a lot of opportunities for jobs, and that way you can kind of narrow down what you think you like doing for work, where you see your career maybe taking you, or what you might want to think about doing after graduation. So that's a really nice program that forestry offers. And balancing your school life and personal life, Ron took the words out of my mouth. It is definitely a learning curve. But the nice thing is that everyone is also going through that learning curve. So everyone's learning together. And even though you feel maybe a little bit overwhelmed sometimes because everyone else seems to be, doing so much better academically, and they can keep up with such a great social life, everyone is going through the same things you are. And it's sometimes nice to be able to find people and just chat with them about how they're making it happen, form study groups, whether that's with people in your class or not. And also just like we have a really nice building on campus. I know most of you probably haven't seen the Faculty of Forestry building, but it really does foster community. And most of the time we find people from other faculties trying to come into our building, trying to study there, bringing their friend groups. We have a Tim Hortons, which is really nice. So the building, like the forestry building in itself, is also a very nice hub for socializing, but also just kind of group space, which is really nice, and students can take advantage of that to try to do group study work, or we also hold events at the building as well. So yeah.
All right, the next question is, what is your favorite thing about being in the Faculty of Forestry? And maybe if you have one, something that maybe surprised you most about the Faculty of Forestry.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing lately has been the amount of programs that the forestry offers for like job opportunities. I'm not going to touch on co-op like Lori's talked about, but that is one of them, and I'm in that, and that's really, really cool. They also have other programs like tri-mentoring, which I'm also just got into that, and that's like another thing we get to have a one-on-one triad with like a first year, second year student and a person out like in the field that you are interested in. And that's really cool because you can network and all that, and you don't have to do as you don't have to use as much time like in co-op where you have to extend your degree for 5 years. So that's a really cool program. And then they also just constantly they constantly have events where you can it's called like get hired events, where they offer all these jobs, and those employers will like come to the UBC, and you can join and see if this is like what you are into and what you might be interested in. So right now, that's like what that's my favorite thing, just because I'm getting to that point where I might be graduating soon. So I think it's really cool that they have these opportunities and you aren't just in the dark when you graduate. So yeah, that's like my most favorite.
Yeah, so I agree completely with everything that Abby said. Just all the opportunities and everything here is just really cool in the Faculty of Forestry. Two things that I really like in the Faculty of Forestry. The first thing being the community, in all different senses. The first one is the faculty and the staff. They have their own tight-knit community, and it's very evident to the students, especially when you walk into student services. It's just a very nice environment when you walk in there. They treat each other like friends, and then they treat the students like friends as well. It's very different, I think, from what I've heard from maybe students who are not in the Faculty of Forestry. And that also goes with our classes. It's just very nice how interconnected not only our coursework is between classes, how professors will communicate with each other, how lessons connect with one another through all the different forestry classes. But just having the same group of students and again, professors that do all these things together. So you're never really out of the loop. Everything kind of interconnects together. And it's very nice.
The next question we have is, what types of students should apply for the UBC Faculty of Forestry, one of our 6 programs there?
So contrary to how it may sound, the Faculty of Forestry is not just for foresters. It is, I mean, especially as someone in the conservation program, it really is for anyone who wants to take a stab at this whole sustainability, climate change, environmental protection discussion that's been picking up steam. So it's not just about trees, but it's about nature as a whole. It involves streams, it involves salmon, it involves different systems, it involves the tundra, it involves fire. It has all of that in. So if you want to understand how to help be engaged with those kinds of topics while also being aware of the human side of things. So because in this program, you take, for example, an economics course, you take a sociology course, you take a policy course, because you cannot see each one of them individually. You have to see all of them together. And if you want that sort of holistic approach with sort of engaging with sustainability and taking care of the planet, then I think the Faculty of Forestry is a great place to be.
Yeah, I also think for the Faculty of Forestry, I wasn't expecting such a wide breadth of programs when I joined, because like Ron said, I came in kind of expecting more of the traditional type of approach as far as foresters, and you go to school and then you go work in forests and you just, you know, focus on, I don't know, maybe logging always, but it's so much more than that. Personally for me in my program, it's one of the smaller programs, but I'm taking a 5-year program where I can actually graduate as a forester in training, but also an engineer in training, and then hopefully get my professional engineer designation with 5 years of work experience after graduation. So there's also some, like math and science sides to forestry as well, which is really nice and cool, because I didn't know that program existed. And usually people who are interested in that, they would think that they have to apply directly to the applied science faculty where engineering is, but you can obtain your PEng going through the forestry program as well. And then on top of that, there's programs that we have like urban forestry, whereas like maybe more of a city setting and like trying to maximize green space in an urban setting. So there's such a wide reach of different programs, and it might be intimidating when you start because you don't know much about each program, but you can switch once you're here. And most of the time it doesn't extend your degree by any means, because in first and second year, we all take quite similar courses just to get a base understanding. So it's really nice once you get here as well to learn more about each program. And maybe you're lucky and you chose the one that you know you wanted right off the bat. And if you get here and you start in, say, forest resource management, but then you start realizing, oh, the conservation program sounds actually really cool, or the urban forestry is really appealing to me, you can just walk to our lovely student services team that has already been mentioned. And it happens way more often than you think. So it's not end all be all as far as admissions right now. So keep that in mind if you apply to the Faculty of Forestry, is once you're here, then you can also continue to learn about what the faculty has to offer you.
All right, and a final question. If you could say one thing to prospective students, what would it be?
If I could say one thing to prospective students is the amount of opportunity that you're going to get at UBC in the Faculty of Forestry is something you won't get at any other school in Canada.
I would say to just apply, like do what I did and be a wild card if it's a wild card for you, and just see what happens. Because this was on like my lowest rating for university, and then I applied, got in, visited. I was like, okay, now it's like my top. So just apply, see how it is, like see how it goes, and then figure out what happens next after that. So yeah.
That's good. I like that, Abby. I would say never ever shy away from an opportunity if you can help it. Even if it sounds like something that you're not totally interested in, or if it sounds completely foreign to you. Some of the best memories that I've made so far within the Faculty of Forestry is by just continually saying yes to whether it's getting involved or helping a professor out outside of hours, or taking additional courses because they seem interesting. So never shy away from opportunities, no matter what they look like, as far as academic or extracurricular and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've had all my points taken from me. I would say that honestly, just be excited. Like I know it sounds really general, but like just hold on to that same excitement that you have throughout. Like it really is a fun place to be. And if you do choose to come, there'll be some fun times for you waiting, and it'll be exciting. And like Lori said, just don't be afraid to like take that leap, even if you think you don't fit in. Don't self-screen yourself out. Like just apply, come in, take up all these opportunities, see how you like it. You never know. It could work out really, really well.
Great. Thank you so much to our lovely forest students here for sharing some thoughts and experiences with us all. And we hope to see you here next year at UBC Faculty of Forestry.